Don't ever make me play this game again! Fuck! Oh my god, you guys. Torn Tales is about as boring as you could possibly imagine, which is a shame, because the premise was actually very sound. Torn Tales is a squad-based CRPG-style adventure game in which you control a trio of children's fable characters in what could have been a very interesting blend. You have Snow White, Robin Hood, and along with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde filling out some fairly obvious mechanical tropes. Snow White's magic provides her the glass cannon motif, while Robin Hood fills out, of course, naturally, the ranged DPS role. And then we have Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde providing a dual role of melee DPS and tank at the same time. And the story, for the most part, isn't entirely a bad one. Due to an evil megalomaniac attempting to make his own mark on history, has jumbled and mixed together the three characters' stories.
Lonely, bitter old man, a bookbinder, who longed to write stories that would touch the world's heart, though he was said to not have one himself.
If they will spurn my stories, I shall rewrite theirs. I will tear down their heroes. I will make their tragedies my triumph, and make them see the truth. Let me have the wolf by my side, the honesty of its hunger. Give me the wicked witch and the evil ogre. Give me the darkest depth of the human soul. I will bind them together with blood and give the world a new story. A lesson for them all to remember. Never let genius go unrecognized. Once upon a time.
Now, unfortunately, though, I really had to fight to find something positive to say about this game. It's not that it didn't have effort put into it or it was a simple asset flip. No, it's very clearly not. No. It shows that the creator actually did put effort and thought into their game, which makes it even harder for me to actually give the game a negative review. But, you know, that's sometimes my job, doing things I don't want to do, because the game is really just not good at all. The gameplay mechanics resemble a clicker game mixed with watered-down MMO controls. With a real-time CRPG-style gameplay, it reminds me of what would happen if you combined a pre-alpha Dragon Age Origins game with a mobile game, and then lobotomized it, and then kicked it in the nuts. With a bland, generic top-down left-click style control scheme, the game actually uses the Q, W, and E keys to activate a character's abilities. Now, for those of you who have actually played games on PC, this is one of the most idiotic control schemes I've ever seen in my life outside of Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Now, couple that with a watered-down inventory system and equipables that consist of 2 rings and 1 necklace, and the game has all the depth and complexity as a puddle of moldy water. Now, in addition to that, the items themselves are simple variations on a theme with as much variety and diversity as a Star Wars Clone Trooper convention. All of the items that I found offered some form of minor resistance boost, health boost, or area of effect damage that more often than not proves to be utterly useless owing to the fact that you can only control one character at a time. And as soon as you switch characters, the AI for the other two kicks in and shows how completely and utterly moronic and useless it is. More often than not, causing more frustration than anything else. Now also, for the first 3 hours, there's absolutely no challenge to the game whatsoever, until you get to a point where, for some reason or another that is never clearly explained, some strange person is summoning multiple bosses that you have to fight through. And this is actually a difficult area, but not through any clever mechanics or interesting gameplay. No. The sheer difficulty comes from the complete and utter lack of meaningful controls for your characters. And you have no pause and decide ability or the ability to set up meaningful schemes and if-then thresholds for the characters that makes the game difficult out of sheer unresponsive frustration alone. Yeah, you have you control one. You pick one and you stick with it. Otherwise, you'll just end up fucking yourself. Now, I switched to Snow White to have her cast heal, only to have Robin Hood run the fuck up to engage in melee while Dr. Jekyll runs around flailing like a madman at anything and everything in sight. The game mechanics sometimes make no sense. I had multiple occasions where my two idiotic AI teammates got themselves fucking killed, and I tried to get away from the horde of opponents slowly lumbering towards me so I could find a goddamn save point, because that's the only way to resurrect the morons after they get themselves killed. And that's when I found out that the goddamn AI enemies won't ever disengage. They follow you clear across the goddamn map. So now you find yourself kiting a horde of enemies so you can slowly pick them off until you can finally wipe them out. And only then can you get to a save point to resurrect your fallen meat shields, because that's all they fucking are. They're useless for literally anything else. Now, the amount of useless backtracking is insane. The AI is a complete and utter joke. The frame rate tanks for no goddamn reason, and I had 4 hard crashes in a 3-hour period. This game is painful to play, and that's why it earns a 3! A 3 out of 10! I can't believe anyone would want to pay money for this shit. And it's such a shame, too, because you could see that there was effort put into this game, but it just doesn't feel finished. Only about half of the storybook segments have voice narration, which is a crime in its own right, because the voice actor was very good here, and it wouldn't have taken much to flesh that part out a bit more and include more meaningful loot, a better inventory system on top of it, and overall the AI, not to mention being able to control and direct all 3 of your party at the same time. That would be a huge change, and if all of that were done, then this would be, for all intents and purposes, a fantastic game. But as it stands, I just look at it now and I shudder thinking about how painful it was. So, that was Torn Tales, ladies and gentlemen. And to be honest, it was one of the most promising pieces of shit I've ever had to review. And I do hope the developer makes some changes and revamps the game, because there was definitely some heart put into this. And it honestly really does have a kernel of goodness deep down under all of the fecal matter. Thanks again for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to hit those like and share buttons if you're new to the channel. Please do hit that subscribe button as well. It does help more than you know. Once again, I am SidAlpha, and I'll see you next time. Hey folks, thanks again for watching. If you're interested in some more reviews or first impressions, feel free to click on the window on the left. If you're interested in news affecting the gaming community, the link on the right will take you to that. If you're interested in staying up to date on what happens with the channel, the links to my Twitter, Facebook, and Reddit pages will be in the description down below. And if you're feeling generous and wish to help improve the quality of the channel, a link to our Patreon will be down in the description as well. It certainly isn't required, but it is appreciated. Also, please don't forget to show your support and hit those subscribe and share buttons, and thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time.